Welcome everybody. In this video, we're going to talk about orienting people well on your project sites. And so I want to anchor you into a little sketch here. This is a sketch of how our site looked like from a site logistics standpoint on the Bioscience Research Laboratory. We had our trailers here. This part was bathrooms. This was the lunchroom. There was a lay down area over here, kind of a supermarket type area. We had a deck out here. This was parking. This was a roadway project site. And then people came out and into the hoist over here. So workers would come in, be dropped off. They would get their water, their ice, come in here, use the bathroom. These were nice inside bathrooms. Lunchroom, come out, cross the roadway, and actually come into to where the hoist was, huddle, and then they would come into the project site, and we had a nice entryway right there. So this is kind of the overview. What we're going to do is talk about orientation. What I want you to do is adapt this to your circumstances. Inside the trailer, when you first came in, first of all, there was signage on the trailer saying, if you're here for orientation, come into this left door. So there was really good signage for when people got dropped off, they would know that they were going right here. If they had ended up over here in the huddle, we would say anybody for orientation, come back over here to the main entrance. So there were two ways, signage and then the morning worker huddles that would direct them where to go. Once you entered the door, there was the permitting and safety notification area where we had the federal and state posters. We would have all of the right to know information in there, and then they would come into the desk. And at the time, we had one of the best office managers that I've ever worked with. Her name was Lourdes, and she would basically receive them and take them into a conference room. And she would give them the worker information sheets that were required for us at the time, the company that I worked for, and they would be filling it out. And then the person giving the orientation was on a rotation and would go in there and actually take them through a verbal in-person presentation and a video. We consider this a really neat opportunity because you have a captive audience. Like, this is the first opportunity, just like in the other video that I showed you, opportunity with the water, the ice, the bathrooms, the lunchrooms, the worker huddle, and the entryway. All of these things make an impression. This orientation in the conference room makes an impression as well. Are we going to connect with the people in that room? Yes or no? So we took it seriously. We would speak passionately, directly. We would make sure that people understood what we cared about. So they would go in here, work orientation form. They would get the verbal part of the orientation, the video part of the orientation, and then we would do a test to make sure that everybody understood. And then we would debrief on that test to make sure that everybody had what they needed. Once we did that, they would come back out to Lourdes and get stickers on their hard hat for what they were trained for. If they were trained for ladders, they would get a sticker. If they were trained for scaffolding, they would get a sticker. If they were trained for fall protection, they would get a sticker. If it was forklift, they have to have their card on them. Anyway, they wouldn't get a sticker, they would keep their card. But once they got all their training requirements figured out, I would walk them through the lunchroom and talk to them about this concept of respect. And then we would, and you can see videos of this, take them in the bathroom and do a quick tidy up and be like, hey, these are the bathrooms, this is what we expect. This is how you change out the toilet paper. This is how you change out the paper towels. This is how you wash your hands. I'm no kidding. Like, we literally did that. And if there was a little bit of a mess, I was like, hey guys, can you help me tidy this up real quick? They saw that there was no graffiti. They were clean. It was beautiful. The bathroom smelled nice because we had air fresheners. We had a little bit of music going on. So we made an impression, right? Then I would come out here with them on the dock and I would show them the project site, the entryways, where we huddle, what the main risks were for the project. So they're getting an overview of how to interact initially with the project. And then once they were done and we were done with that and I was done talking to them, I would say, are there any questions? And I would give them their hard hat sticker. And then we knew in that captive environment that not only did we communicate expectations, not only did we leave an impression, not only did we cover the standard things in a video, not only did we test them to ensure they understood it, but we also debriefed it, connected, and then actually showed them the key parts of the project in a walk, what was important, and only then gave them the orientation sticker. So it wasn't a check the box. It wasn't a we're going to do this quickly. It was a system of orientation, meaning, hey, normal job sites, disrespect, 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 disrespect. No. This is not what we do on this project site. This is a system of respect. This is what we expect. This is what we appreciate from you. And this is how we do business. The other thing is they were oriented to our zero tolerance policies, meaning that if it wasn't clean, we clean it up. If it wasn't scheduled for the hoist, we turn it around because we have to keep the schedule on such a tight site. And then if we were being unsafe, we would be invited to go home until we could get the right tools, equipment, training, or mindset to come back and be safe. And they could come back the next day for through orientation. Everything they needed to know to be successful on the site was done in that orientation. And so one more time, enter, welcomed by somebody. We got their information, did a remarkable job of explaining and showing them what was expected. We gave them credit for their training with visual systems and then walked them through through. So there was no question about how to interact with that project site. And we also, like I said, were connected with them, and they felt an obligation, human to human, to comply with those rules. And sometimes I would even say, hey, even if you don't agree with everything that we're covering here, you're giving me your word as an upright woman or man to follow the rules. Like, this is our project. When you're on our project, you follow our rules. And whether you agree with them or not, you're giving us your word that you are going to follow those rules. And as such, that means that we expect certain behavior. We also communicated why it was important to us to keep them safe and to send them home safe to their families, and they could feel that passion. So ultimately, when we talk about orienting people, let me just go ahead and read something. The orientation of project workers and leaders is a key consideration. Everyone must be shown the expectations and be given the tools and information to succeed on the project. This would include project-specific information, a remarkable safety orientation presented in a simple and effective way where people can clearly understand visually, audibly, and kinesthetically, a review of the information with project leaders, a project-specific tour including visiting the bathrooms and lunch area, lean orientation and instruction, meaning giving them a little bit of information on how we run a lean project, and then a concluding test confirming comprehension, because again, we don't really care what we've told somebody, we care what they understand. We communicate for understanding. So that really is the basis of what we expect from an orientation standpoint. I really hope that's been helpful. On we go.